Okay, let's start with an idiom, as and when. Is and means at the time that something happens. In the US, it should be if and when. For example, we don't own a car, we just rent one as and when we need it. Next, as for somebody or something, used to talk about how another person or thing is affected by something. For example, as for Louis, well, who cares what she thinks? Next, as if is an informal phrase said to show that you do not believe something is possible. For example, did you get a pay raise? As if. Next, as if or as though, used to describe how a situation seems to be. For example, she looked as if she'd had some bad news. Next, as in the state that something is in at the present time. For example, will you wait till it's finished or take it home as it? Next, as it is already. I'm not buying the children anything else today, as I have spent far too much money as it is. Next, be composed of something. To be formed from various things. For example, air is composed mainly of nitrogen and oxygen. Next, dole something out is an informal phrase to give something, especially money, to several people. Next, be on dole means receiving dole. For example, means to receive the money that the government gives to people who are unemployed. For example, young people on dole are often bored and frustrated. Next, fellowship feeling. It's a noun but uncountable. An understanding or sympathy that you feel for another person because you have a shared experience. For example, there was a fellow feeling between everyone who had lived through the war. Next is an idiom, gales of laughter, a lot of loud laughter. For example, I could hear gales of laughter coming from downstairs. Next, infringe on or upon something. If something infringes on or upon something's right of freedom, it takes away some of their rights or limits their freedom. For example, the restrictions infringe upon basic human rights. Next is an idiom, I might have known. Slightly disapproving, said when you are not surprised at a situation or someone's behavior because you expected it. For example, I might have known that he'd still be in bed at noon. Next, might I ask, inquire, know, is a UK phrase, formal phrase used in questions to show disapproval by being more polite than is expected. For example, and what are you doing here? Might I ask? Next, with all one's might means with all one's power, strength or force. For example, she struggled with all her might to get free. Next is an idiom. Prophet of doom. Disapproving. Someone who always expects bad things to happen. For example, the prophets of doom have been predicting the end of European cinema for the last 10 years. Next, be shorn of something. To have something taken away from you. For example, the ex-president, although shorn of his official powers, still has influence. Next, shear off or shear away. To change direction suddenly. For example, I thought the boats were going to call it, but one sheared off at the last second. Next, stumble on. To step awkwardly while walking or running and fall or began to fall. For example, running along the beach, she stumbled on a log and fell on the sand. Next, stumble about or stumble around. To work in a way which does not seem controlled. For example, we could hear her stumbling about the bedroom in the dark. Next, stumble upon something or somebody. To discover something by chance or to meet someone by chance. For example, workmen stumbled upon the mosaic while digging foundations for a new building. Next, stumbling block is an countable noun, something which prevents action or agreement. For example, lack of willingness to compromise on both sides is a main stumbling block to reaching a settlement. Next, put, place, set a value on something. Means to regard something as important part of being successful. For example, they are known to place a high value on good presentation. Next, be of value means how useful or important something is. For example, the photos are of immense historical value. Next, value added is an adjective. Value added products or services are worth more because they have been improved or had something added to them. Next, value judgment is an countable noun, a statement of how good or bad you think an idea or action is. For example, people often make value judgments about things without considering them carefully.